So my name is Aanchal Malhotra and I'm a writer. I write modern Indian history, particularly to do with the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. It actually looks at the personal objects that refugees carried with them from India to Pakistan or Pakistan to India at the time of partition. The idea is when you are forced to leave your home and when you have no choice but to migrate under difficult circumstances to a place that you don't know anything about, what do you carry with you and why do you take those things, and what are the memories of that home that you're carrying with you with those things. I couldn't understand how my grandparents, all four of my grandparents, had been reduced to numbers because there were no stories accompanying what people saw. There were only 15 million people migrated from one side to the other side, 1 million people died, and the thing is, many numbers is just a statistic. It doesn't tell you anything about what they went through. And so I started thinking that if I don't know enough about what happened to families, not just my family, but so many families, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Parsi, Jain, Christian, subsequent generations after me will know even less. And this is how history becomes diluted. This is how history becomes misrepresented. What you're trying to understand is how daily life was before riots or before disturbances, and how that life was fractured because of this communal unrest. So what you're trying to understand is how people lived. So by asking people about the objects they chose to carry, you were asking them, what did you think was precious enough? The object is also a way for us to enter into a landscape that may otherwise be very traumatic for people to speak about. So I'll give you an example. If I'm sitting with someone who has lived through partition, I would almost never say, oh, tell me about partition, it must have been horrible. I will say, oh, you carry this ring? Oh, how interesting, why did you carry this ring from across the border? Who told you that you would have to carry this ring? You carried it because it was precious, because you could sell it, because it would get you money on the other side. And why have you kept it? Why didn't you sell it? The object is borderless. The object doesn't have any citizenship. It has the capacity to absorb memory, and it has the capacity to pass on memory as well. And for people who are trying to connect, like for instance someone like me who is a third generation, who has no tangible link to partition, I have not seen it, I can't touch it, I don't know anything like that. The object is a way to be physically connected to a place. If you can't go to Pakistan, if you can't go to India, at least you can touch something that's from there. You know, you can feel closer. The beauty about books is that you can travel everywhere. When you write about partition, what is even more beautiful is that you can travel across a border that hundreds of people in this country and our neighboring country, Pakistan, will never be able to travel across. Putting it in book form is a way to travel to the other side, is a way to travel back home. And so what I was trying to do is, through these stories, show people that if there is shared pain, then there can also be shared healing, which means that there can be conversation and empathy and kindness. This is one of my greatest goals, I think, to find a way for common Indians and Pakistanis to relate to one another.